Hey, good morning. So today's video, we are going to be installing the DV8 off-road rear Molle panel. They're pocketed. They're supposed to be super straightforward. They tie into the existing OEM locations as well. So it should be a pretty simple install, but we're gonna get into it right now. Okay guys, so we're gonna actually assemble this in the car. This is very straightforward. We already went over the required tools. So there's your trim tool, 10 mil and 4 mil Allen wrench. So these are designed to be pocketed. I mean, it's in the name. So the window would be on this side, and then this would be the part into your cargo area. So we're gonna flip it over to begin with. Now, the top one, which is gonna go in the handle, has 2 holes. And what this calls for is grabbing our bracket and assembling it. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now, you see this DV8 off-road? This part goes on the inside, and the 2 holes need to go towards the DV8 over here, not this way or it's backwards. So, and then to secure these, all we do, we grab the included bolts, which are M6, and we go ahead and just tighten these down. We're only gonna really hand tighten these because it does call for adjusting later on. So went ahead and did that. A little bit more than finger tight. I mean, we want a little bit of play, but we don't want it to be slopping around, especially since we're installing near glass. So there's that. Go ahead and get this other side here. And here's the other M6 bolt. And washer, bolt, panel, bracket, through, and oops, hold on. Okay, cool. All right guys, so look, this is what we got going on here. So when you set this up, the bracket part goes on the inside near the window side, under it, if you will. And then you see why we left it loose. See the adjustment? So we're gonna tighten this down so we can still slide it, but not to the point that it's gonna rattle around. So a little bit there, a little bit here. There we go. Okay. Cool. Gotta love new parts. Okay, there we go. So we got this tightened. Again, not tighten, just, you know, so it can still slide like this with a little bit, right? Okay, now the next thing is we've flipped it over at this point, and we have our other bracket. Now, as much as this one was towards the back, where I'm kind of standing, if you will, so like this, towards the back, this one is gonna go on the inside and go towards the front. So, and this is held by 3 bolts. And again, very much the same. We're gonna tighten it, but we're gonna leave room for adjustments. So I'm actually pretty stoked on this. This is super simple, guys. You don't even need to like mess around with a nut on the back side. So very impressed by what they did at DV8 to just make this, you know, consumer friendly. I mean, it does not get any easier than this. So, well, it does. You can pay somebody like me to install it. That's super easy. But DV8 does a good job at making it user friendly. All right, so there's that. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're gonna do the same thing where we tighten it down. And then, believe it or not, guys, our passenger side is assembled and ready for install. And what we're gonna have to do now is grab that orange trim removal that I showed you, and we need to unbolt 2 things in the handle, which we're gonna reuse. And then there's a small thing over in one of these panels that we need to pull and drop a spacer, and then we'll go ahead and bolt these in as well. So, all right, let's make sure we didn't over tighten, and we did. So back it off just a little. Yep. Make sure we can still, yep, nice. So it doesn't really move, but it's enough to slide around. We could probably go a little bit more here. All right, guys, so that's it right there. That's your panel. Okay, so again, this is the passenger side, right? So passenger side, make sure that it's the outwards part, if you will, or kind of the hump that it's projecting into the cargo area. The glass is in the recessed area, and then this DV8, what you want to do is for the top bracket, make sure that it is set up with the DV8 badge, and then for the lower bracket, you want to grab the piece that's going to put it away. So that's how you're able to tell. And what we're going to go ahead and do now is get into the trim removal. So we're going to pick that up immediately right now. All right, guys, so now we're into the vehicle, and what we really need to get now is this undone. This is the bottom support. So we got our plastic trim removal tool, and it's going to be a tight fit. Luckily, I also have a hook tool. Yep, almost. There we go. Okay, so we got that. It's pulled out. Now, what we've done here, let me show you. We have a 10mm bolt, and I did say that we need a 10 mil. We need a 10 mil 3/8 drive with an extension. So I'm gonna go grab that, and then we're gonna undo this bolt together. All right, guys, we're back with our extension here. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So, yep, that's it. Okay, so 10 mil with an extension. It is deep. So here we go. Now, keep all of this hardware, because we're going to be reusing it. There we go. Okay, so come on. Wow, there we go. All right, so we got our bolt out, and the next thing we're going to do is, in the bag there was 2 of these guys. These are spacers, right? And your spacers are going to retain the OEM hardware that we just removed, so you don't want to get rid of that, okay? So grab your spacer, feed it in that hole, and go ahead and tighten it. And this one you can go ahead and tighten all the way. It's not that big of a deal. So there we go. So that's nice and tight. And while we're here, oh, hi. Hold on here. There we go. While we're here, the next thing we're also going to do is this. So we need to remove the end pieces off, and I can almost do that with my fingernails. Sweet. Okay, so you don't even need a trim removal. I just put my fingernails in there and it came right off, huh? Well, I'll use a trim on this one. Okay, so same thing. Okay, we're gonna loosen with the 10 mil. This is no big deal. I think you guys are gonna see in one fell swoop just how easy this is. So we've loosened there, we loosened here. Okay, now what we're gonna go ahead and do is, I'll just take that off. Let's just pull these. So here we go. Okay, so there's that, and again, we're going to be reusing these, so don't get rid of them, don't trash them. Here we go. So Reusing the handles, I suppose, is going to be a personal choice if you want to or not. I personally am not going to. I don't see a need. It's very obvious that this shares a platform with the GX because we have cup holders, we have chargers, we got vents, and no third row. So anyways, next thing that we're going to do, since we're just right here, reposition ourselves. And now the instructions tell you that they want no part of this to touch the plastic. So that's where I believe the adjustments come in, if you will. So we're going to go ahead and take this. You know what? I am going to reuse the handle, and so should you. Yep. Yes, okay, guys, we are definitely reusing the handles because this bolt doesn't have an awesome, see, you can just go through. So to secure it really well, go ahead and use the handle, reuse the handle. I'm sure the instructions probably tell you that. Okay, so we're gonna put this guy through. That's good. So we have him through, and we have our socket. We're just going to, again, we're gonna loosely get this up there. So there's that, and that's, there we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it so it gets a couple of thread bites. By the way, the top and the bottom bolts are different. The top ones are longer, so make sure you keep that. So even though they're both 10 mil, they are different. So, oh, excuse me. So here we grab our handle again. Go ahead and put this guy through. There we go. Okay, he's in place. Yep, he's definitely in place. And we're gonna tighten him to grab a few. Now guys, if you notice, I haven't even gotten the socket back out yet. I'm just getting this into position because, again, they want us to be able to move this around. So, and this is why. See, so it's a little bit off. So we're gonna take this and put it into the spacer hole that we just did. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, so right now, guys, we are secured in there. And what I want to go ahead and do then is tighten this, all three of them, to hand tight. Okay. There we go. Hand tight there. And then hand tight here. And hand tight here. Okay. So I want to tighten that, just like that. Okay, we're going to get our socket again. Set it for tightening. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You know, righty-tighty. All right, now we want to make sure that this is mostly centered and not touching. So I got a little bit of touch, there we go, going on in the front, but none in the back. So there we go. Okay, and this is why you never ever want to tighten too much. So we're gonna go back in, loosen these just a little bit. I don't know if getting them into position here changed anything, but they're not sliding like they were. So we're gonna loosen this a little bit. Let's see, okay. Seems to be the bottom ones are actually tight. Okay, so that's a little loose. That's now re-loosened. This is re-loosened. Ooh, that was tight. Yep, so the bracket is, when you do the bracket and you bolt it down, there's a little bit of flex. and it's causing a little bit of tension on the bracket and the Molle. No big deal. We actually want that. That's encouraging. But there we go. Okay, so now that's nice and loose, and this guy's relatively loose, and this guy's pretty loose. Okay, here we go. There. All right, so not touching there, not touching anywhere here. Let's try loosening this. I'd like to slide it back just a little bit more if it lets me. We'll see. Okay. Let's see. Okay. It's pretty much there. I'm just a little anal. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is tighten these. There we go. So I'm going to tighten these all the way now. I know that they're not touching at the metal. I know that this metal is not touching any of the plastic. I know we've got everything that we need. Because these are, you know, quote unquote pocketed, the nice thing is the glass is protected, right? So I'm just gonna go through, tighten all these down. All right, get the business end going. And obviously we drive on washboards, so once you get this installed, periodically check to make sure that it didn't rattle itself loose. I mean, I'm not sure about you guys, but I go down some pretty washed out roads on a pretty frequent basis. So, all right, so that's nice, tight. That's nice and tight. And there we go. And lastly, one more. There we go. There we go. Nice and tight there. And there. Okay, now we're going to tighten the rest of this up. So. All right, fold those back in, fold those back in, and we do not want to lose our piece. If we ever go to trade the car in or anything, they're gonna want this. I'm gonna put this here for now, but that's it, guys. Super solid. That's passenger side. Driver side, identical. So the install's really as simple as that. We're done. Everything's nice and tight. Everything's, you know, OEM looking. It's very well secured on here. I have zero concerns at all. There's plenty of room between this and the glass, so whatever you stick on here, it's not like it's going to tap the glass on the inside. In fact, I would say it's probably about 4 to 5 inches between these panels and that. It doesn't take away from the cargo space by any means, unless like you stuffed your pillows in there. But overall, it just makes it much more secure, cleaner. Very happy with this. So we're gonna go ahead and attach all of our accessories. Well, first we're gonna attach the driver's side. I'm gonna do that. You guys don't need me. We just did the passenger. Then I'm gonna attach all the accessories, and then from there we'll just do a couple of quick shots. I'll show you guys everything we got going on. You know, our first aid kit. Let's see, first aid kit, fire extinguisher. I bought the DV8 fire extinguisher thing, and yeah, first 4 hose from Tire Flate. So we're gonna use these for that. All right, guys, so we are outside the vehicle now. Let's go ahead and open it up and show you what we did. So first and foremost, obviously putting it to use right away. As you can see, it does stick out a little, and there is about 4 to 5 inches of room underneath. Grab handles are still there, so everything remains intact. It's a very, very clean look. Nothing is currently touching there or there. And if we go over here now, I have the first aid kit, fire extinguisher, everything. So overall, very, very, very pleased with how this came out. It was not complicated at all. They said hour and a half for install. If it's your first time, I believe it. I think that's pretty accurate, which is a nice change. If you're familiar with installs and have done this, figure about 30-45 minutes. It's really as simple as putting this bracket and that bracket in, undoing the bolts real quick. So 3 bolts that you're going to reuse, and then 1, 2 at the top, 1, 2, 3 at the bottom, and that's it. And these things are super solid. I mean, they're into factory bolt locations, so nothing cheap about them at all. Very happy, so good job.